back to another edition of the preview. I'm Adam Kulikowski. I'll be your host, the one feeding all the questions to our expert on the other side of the glass, Andy Shea. On tap for this week's edition, it's playoff action. We're taking a look at CD East's 6A matchup against Hempfield, Big Spring's bout against Conrad Weiser, and Middletown's visit to Elliotsburg to play West Perry. Welcome, Mr. Shea.
Hey, Adam, how are you? It is playoff time. Some of it's limited, but most of it's full metal jacket. So three good ones here. Let's get going.
Yes, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see what happens over the next few weeks in the postseason. You know, Andy, one quick question is before we go. And one of my favorite things to do this time of year is to watch some of that top talent across the Commonwealth. Do you have a bucket list of players that you'd like to see? Who tops that list?
So who is it for you? I don't make sure we don't want to pick the same guy. Because I think I have a different guy.
For me, it's Nick Singleton at Governor Mifflin. As a Penn State fan, I cannot wait to see him, play from Mifflin. I haven't gotten out there. Obviously it's Berks Catholic or Berks League, where we don't cover very often. So I'm excited to see him, and he should be around for a little while. They should make it a few weeks at least, right?
They might be around for a little bit, maybe. So, okay, so the Penn State fan in you. So this is for the Penn State fan in you. Let's just stick in District 3 since that's where we are right now. We're getting ready to kick it off. I just like to watch him play, and it's Central York quarterback Bo Pabula, another Penn State recruit, so that's good for you. I mean, he has those intangibles that just fuel winning. It's so fun to watch that, and he sort of elevates everyone around him. I'm not saying he drags them along and he's got a U-Haul full of sort of mediocre football players, but he just elevates no matter whether it's a super talented player or just an average player. He sort of has that innate ability to elevate everyone around him. It's just fun to watch. That's my guy.
Yeah. Loved watching him last year against Central Dauphin, man. He put on quite a performance.
Yeah. It's just, there's so much to like about it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's kick off our playoff edition of the preview. Let's head over to the Speedway, where number 6 Hempfield battles number 3 CD East. Andy, give us your breakdown on this game.
Yeah, so I think a lot of this game will be a lot about defense. I think. I mean, I'd say both squads have played what I will say is a quality schedule overall, and for each of them, defense has been the most consistent ingredient for their success. That's just what I see. I mean, CD East is coming off a loss. I think that's part of the equation, but I'd like to think the Panthers can charge forward. Like they're going to not let losing to Carlisle impact them. Sort of, they're not going to have a hangover carryover. But I will say, clearly their momentum as a team as it was rolling along, it was stunted a bit though. That is definitely a factor here because they had a 2-score lead in the second quarter and they let that slip away. That is not who they are, coughing up a lead like that. So, Hempfield's allowed only one team, Central York, to score more than 21 points against them. Defense, right? They played 6 games against teams that made it to the playoffs. Quality schedule. Honestly, I'm not sure who has the better defense in this game, but we're going to find out. But I think this game is defense focused.
Andy, a lot of folks follow us for Mid-Penn coverage. For those that might not know a lot about Hempfield, tell us one thing they need to know about the Black Knights in this matchup.
Yeah, so the really important thing to know is they will not flinch they won't flinch in this game. They've played a ton of close games this season. 6 of their 10 regular season games were decided by 7 or fewer points. That's a lot, right? That's 60% of your games. And they are 4-2 of those games. So what you need to know is about Hempfield is they're not going to blink. They won't. Their 6-4 record is a little bit deceiving. Don't be fooled by it. They are built for this type of game.
Okay, Andy, give us your prediction. Who walks away and advances?
I like Hempfield. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to pick Hempfield. And it's not because CD's lost to Carlisle. I just think I like Hempfield's salt and pepper seasoning, and I think it's going to be a factor. And I like the way that the way you have to win games. The playoff games are different. The way you have to win them, I think Hempfield's built for it.
Okay. Panthers, there's some bulletin board material for you guys.
There you go, CDs, take it. I just like Hempfield.
Okay, let's move on to a 4A matchup. Number 10, Big Spring, travels into Berks County to take on number 7, Conrad Weiser. Andy, what should we know about this matchup?
Yeah, this is this is a playing game, and despite losing to Middletown 7-0 in the slot last Friday to close out Week 10, I'm still kind of bullish on the Bulldogs. I mean, they're making only what their second ever appearance in the District 3 playoffs,
Mhm.
and the Week 10 loss. I don't think losing to Middletown and that mess is going to hang over their heads. They surrendered. They gave up only one touchdown, right? And in what last Friday was weather-wise, it handicaps their offense. It clearly does. They run the ball to sort of open up a defense and take those deep shots with Ethan Eisenberg using his strong arm. His strong arm, he connects on more of them than he misses on. So a driving sideways rain that takes that off the table. It shows the value of the diversity of this offense, though, and I think that's important. Physically, the Bulldogs are up for this challenge, and I think the scouts are going to be a real test for them. I mean, I'm not keen on Weiser's schedule. I don't think they've played a really good schedule, and they've given up some points, but they're tough to put out, and they're tough out. Big Spring better bring his track shoes, is what I'll say, and work on pass coverage this week because Logan Klitsch, he's a junior quarterback. He's a 2,000-yard passer,
Yeah.
and he boasts a completion percentage north of 66%. So he's got a go-to guy. Andre Feliciano is his go-to guy, but there's depth at the wide receiver, and there's levels that they use in their passing game that Big Spring doesn't see. So that makes it sticky for their secondary. I absolutely love this game. I think it's one of the best games on the slate to kick off the second season. I really do.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Andy, Big Spring has not won a playoff game. So what do they
They
have
don't.
to
They're
do?
0-1.
What do they have to do to get that elusive victory?
They have to cover like they've never covered before in the secondary. And they had a stellar game on the back end against Steel High, and that's going to matter. That matters a lot, right? However, the Rollers passing game doesn't have the depth and levels that Weiser has. They have a go-to guy, like I talked about, but you got to know where he is, and they will. But they are really deft at moving the ball around, and the completion percentage, guy completes almost 67% of his passes. That's a lot. So I think the passing attack of Conrad Weiser will ask some questions of the Bulldogs defense it has not had to answer this season.
Okay. Bulldogs make history. They get it done.
They do. I'm taking Big Spring and the Bulldogs. I'm taking their offense in what I think has got all the elements to be a shootout. I really do.
All right. All right. Let's knock out one more before we sign off, Andy. The West Perry Mustangs play host to Middletown in 3A battle. Love this matchup, Andy. What should we know?
You should know that there's great snack food availabilities in Elliotsburg at home of the West Perry Mustangs. But football-wise, there's an element to this game that is just a wee bit sticky for me, right? It's Middletown in the trenches. How much of an advantage is that? They have an advantage there. How much of an advantage is it? That's sort of the unknown factor for me. I do feel that the Capital Division, it's provided more of a complete all-around test for the Blue Raiders than the Colonial Division did for the Mustangs. So, Middletown's playing well. They've won, 3 of their last 4. They had a pair of shutouts. They won 7-0 over Big Spring last week. Look, West Perry's overperformed and overachieved all season. There is a lot to be said for that. But they've dropped 2 of their last 3. They had a crazy overtime loss to Greencastle. They were just another victim of undefeated Shippensburg. And their win was a dogfight last week with winless Susquehanna Township. I can't say it enough. Middletown has put their pieces together. They are playing their best football of the season. They have more pieces, and they're going to make it very difficult for the Mustangs, I think.
Okay. Andy, give us one player on each team that will play a key role if their team advances to the next round.
Yeah, for West Perry, it's got to be Trent Herrera, right? He's been stellar all season. I think for West Perry to win this game, he has to have his absolute best game of the season, though. That's not like stepping out on a plank or anything. That's just, he's going to have to play, his absolute best game of the season. And, he's going to be fighting an uphill climb. For Middletown, it's clearly, the 6'4", 230-pound fullback, running back, defensive end, athlete, Tajay Brody. He's just a special player.
Sure is. Andy, give us your prediction.
I struggle to find paths to victory for West Perry in this matchup. I really do. I see plenty of them for Middletown. That means I'm picking the Blue Raiders.
Okay. Andy, that's it for this edition of the preview. I'll get out to see one of these games or another on the slate. Support your local teams and check us out at fourthdownmagazine.com for all of our weekly content. See ya.